So I want to tell you guys about a time when me and my brother Tonin and our boy Negro, Shafe, and another guy from Cyprus from the Chiba crew back in the day. I forgot his name. I think we called him Chino, which didn't make sense because he was Puerto Rican with Afro hair, dark skin. He looked more black than he did Chino, so, but that's what we called him, I think. Anyway, so I had met this girl named Paula from 103rd Street in Spanish Harlem, and I used to go there to hang out with her. And one day I show up, and I guess she was, I don't know, hooking up with some other guy. I was like 12 or 13, and this other guy was a grown-ass man, maybe 19, maybe 21 years old, just to give you an idea. And I think at the time this girl may have been my age, maybe a year or two younger. But she didn't look her age. She looked like a woman. This kid was built like a bomb. Anyway, so I go over there one day, and the guy she was messing with walks up to me, this grown man, right? He walks up to me and he says, "Yo, I hear you call me a white boy." Right? He's Puerto Rican, or he was Puerto Rican, but you know, he's white. He was white with blonde hair and so on and so on. So I had made a comment to her when she told me that she was seeing him or something, and I said to her, "Oh, you're going out with that white boy?" You know, just casual, nothing, you know, with malice. But I guess homie didn't like it, and she told him, and when she told him, he didn't like it. So he walks up to me and he says, "I'm not gonna fight you because I'm older than you. So I'm gonna get my boy here to fight you." And he got this other guy who was about 14 years old, a little taller than me, to fight. Now, I was scared, of course, because I'm on another block in Manhattan on top of that, and I'm from the Bronx. And now these people want to fight me, and I gotta fight. I don't have a choice. I can't punk down, because if I do, it's gonna be worse. So obviously I'm like, you know, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. And one of the girls from the block, Terry, I think her name was, she goes, "Nah, leave him alone, man, leave him alone, he's cool." And so I guess they left it alone, right? Well, actually they did leave it alone. I go back home to the Bronx, and I tell my brother about it. And I don't know if Negro was with him at the time, but Negro says, "Yo, let's go to Cyprus and get one of my boys from the Chiba crew." So we go back to Manhattan, to 103rd Street, with bats, golf clubs, knives, just 5 of us. 4 or 5. I think it was 5 at the time, but I really don't remember. I remember my brother, Tonin, me, Negro, and that guy Chino. So I think it was just us 4. Anyway, so we go back with bats and all this kind of crap, right? To somebody else's block. On top of that, in another freaking world, which is even worse. So we go there looking for the guy, and we asking everybody. Not for the guy, the white boy, because obviously he was too grown for me to fight. But since I wasn't alone now, I figured the guy that he offered me to fight, I'm ready now, because I'm not alone. And I could fight knowing that I'm not gonna get killed if I beat this guy, right? or when I beat this guy, because that's how I always fought, with the mentality that I'm not going to lose. And I never lost, thank God. But anyway, so we go back and we're asking everybody where these guys were, and nobody knows. So we go back to the Bronx, and we decide to go back later on that evening at night. We went during the day, but we said, let's go back at night, and this time let's leave everything behind. Let's not bring the sticks, the bats, the golf clubs, none of that. And we go back, we get on the train, we hop the train on Brook Avenue, and we take the number 6 train to Manhattan, to 103rd, and we walk to the block, because it was a few blocks away. And as we're walking, I see, and trust me people, I'm not exaggerating. Every time I tell the story, people are like, are you sure it was that many people? Yeah, man, it was that many people. There were at least 1,000 men out there, at least 1,000, okay? It looked like war. And as I'm walking, I think to myself, what the fuck is going on over there? It looks like war. That's exactly how I thought. But what I didn't know, and what the guys I was with didn't know, was that war was waiting for us. It was the Zulu Nation. All right? The Zulu Nation, the most organized crew in all of New York. Okay? They had chapters, they had rules, they had leaders, and these people were deep. All right? It just so happened that this white boy was part of the Zulu Nation. And we walked right into about 1,000 men, and didn't even know that war that was waiting there was waiting for us. And we walked right into it. And as soon as we walked in, they surrounded us, every one of them. Just imagine, it was like 4 rats surrounded by 100 hungry cats, and you know you're gonna die. It's only a matter of time. So they surround us, and of course, as soon as they surround us, we all start yelling, right? Because how fast we start screaming peace. We come in peace when there are more niggas than you, right? So when they surround us, we start yelling, yo, we come in peace, we come in peace, right? And my boy Negro, when he's yelling, yo, we come in peace, we come in peace, he puts his hand in his coat, like pretending he's got a gun, right? Yo, we come in peace, we come in peace. That way, you know, niggas will back up. And that didn't work for nothing. That just didn't nobody give a fuck. If we did have a gun, we weren't gonna get out of there if we shot anybody. So they surrounded us, and when they surrounded us, I still had no idea what was going on. It's just not humanly possible for one guy to have that many guys backing him up. It's just, I still had no idea that it was about him until he walks through and walks to the forefront, and not one of those guys from the Zulu Nation, not one of them spoke, not one of them asked a question, not one of them said a thing, not one. The only one that spoke was that white boy. I think they called him Gemini. Yes, I think that was his name, Gemini. The only one that spoke was Gemini. And he said to me, so what do you want to do? want to squash this, or you want to take it to the next level? And of course, the next level was we're gonna die. So I said, let's squash it. Let's squash it. Dude, talk about organized. These guys could have killed us. They didn't have to ask us questions. They didn't have to do nothing. They knew that they had the power. They knew they had the strength. They knew they had the ability to kill us right then and there, and not one person could do anything about it, not even the police, if they could get through. And he's asking me what I want to do. So I said, let's squash it. And so he says, okay. And he pulls out a machete from his coat. And he was just trying to make a point when he did that. And I understood the point. But when he pulls out the machete, he says, let him go. And like Moses parting the Red Sea, every one of those guys stepped to the side. Not one of us said a word to us. They didn't spit at us. They didn't shove us. They didn't do or say a fucking word. Not one time. Talk about organized, dude. When men respected each other, and even when they didn't have to, because they didn't have to give us that respect. They didn't have to. But back then, men could talk. We didn't need the police to, right now, if a neighbor is playing his music too loud, rather than people knocking on his door and say, hey, my man, can you do me a favor? I'm trying to sleep. Can you bring it down a bit? We don't do that. What's the first thing we do? We create enemies. We call the police first. Yeah, my neighbor's music is too loud. Like little bitches. Dude, you can't be a man and knock on a nigga's door and talk to him like a man and be like, yo, can you do me a favor? I'm trying to sleep. I really appreciate it. It's just how you deal with people. And that's the problem these days. You got these crews that have the power and ability to kill a brother and do whatever they want with the body, and yet we as men don't have the ability, the strength, or the power, or the balls to go to another man and say, hey, listen, this is how it is. It's as if though we need the police to do all our bidding and all our complaining and all our bitching. But anyway, I went from one subject to another. I tend to do that sometimes. And since I'm driving to Florida and I'm bored, I slept in my car. I have a mattress back there with my pillows, my blankets. I have my little bag with everything I need. I got my backpack in the front with all my electronics, my laptop, my headphones, my Bluetooth, everything. But I haven't talked to anybody, so. Anyway, so these guys let us go, man. They let us go. And they could have killed us. And I learned my lesson that day. I learned my lesson that day. That day, I don't think I ever dated a woman or a girl outside of the block. Every girl I ever dated was within my block, just like it always was before Brenda and Gemini and the Zulu Nation. I learned my lesson, and I never again. I made sure that never again I would get into it with anybody outside of the block, whether or not I'm alone or with 10 guys. I I learned my lesson with the Zulu Nation. And thank God that they were so well organized. If there were just another crew from the streets, the four of us would not have made it out that day. So I thank God every day for that. And only because my brother was with me, Toningo. And my brother never got mixed in with my nonsense. Why that day, I don't know. Why he got mixed in. Because I was always fighting, of course, again. But it was never my fault. For some reason, I always got it, So I was always ready to fight. But thank God that everything went well because my brother was with me. And Negro, that guy from the Chiba crew, I didn't know him, so I couldn't give a fuck at the time. But I'm glad he's good too. Because the guy looked out, he's trying to man up. He don't even know me. I bet he learned this lesson too, not to try to back up a nigga you don't know. Fuck that, mind your business.